Sorry, I was trying to get in all the happy birthday dandy wishes as I could because he's watching right now. Hello, everyone. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to SnowTALK on this Thursday morning, the last day of November. December is tomorrow, guys. The year is flying by. Are you done yet with your shopping? I'm maybe 10% in at the moment. Not a good thing. I got to catch up. I've been really, I don't feel like I've been overly busy. I just feel like I've been behind on everything. Does that make sense? It's that kind of a pattern here lately. But we got to hurry up. We only got a few weeks left to get all that knocked out. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the blog. Yes, it is my dog, my Bichon Frise Dandy. It's his 8th birthday today. So thank you all for the birthday wishes. He'll have his nice little treat later. When I left, he was on the couch, passed out, as he normally is. That's his happy place. Susan, good to see you too yesterday, and I hope Madeline's doing well. All right, it was really good to see you. I know it was early in the day to be out and about, so appreciate you coming. Hope you guys are doing well and are ready for a nice little soaking of rain that's coming our way. I know it's not snow, but we need some rainfall. I'll have the drought update here in just a second, but I have a lot to cover, and I got a limited amount of time, as usually the case. So let me hurry up and just try to cut down my rambling a little bit and get right into the setup. We'll begin with the snowboard. Now, this hasn't really changed a whole lot from yesterday. The only thing is the situation for early next week is so marginal and very light. I debated even taking it out altogether, but I'll put it in there just to see if we can get a snowflake or two mixed in with the rain. It would have to be early in the day, or it won't happen. It would have to be tracking through the area too. That's the other issue. So a minor issue, but that's the way the season's going so far. So yeah, I'll leave it on there. If this is like mid-January and we are in the middle of cold weather and active snow events happening. This wouldn't even get a blink. But anyway, and then the one setup for the system that we'll be developing next weekend still looks like it could go to rain to snow scenario. I'll explain that one and how that chain reaction is getting more and more interesting as we evolve through December. That's where my headline to the tease of the blog today is a lot of maps to go over. That's where that comes into play. There's a lot of data that came in last night that I'm going to show you guys. And some haven't even seen it yet, since brand new stuff off the press, they used to say. All right, more on that in a second. First off, quick update on, well, the morning lows this morning were warmer than what we had yesterday. We had no teens. That was a big plus. And the thermometers are bouncing around generally into the 40s throughout much of the overnight. We're on our way to about 60 later on today. It's going to be windy outside again. That wind hasn't really kicked in yet, but it will. We're 45 now, 47 already into Bardstown, and 45 in Montreal. The Drought Index came out. If you're thinking, well, that looks like the same exact map you've had for like 4 weeks, you're right. It hasn't changed a lot. Obviously, we haven't had any rain events that have been at the time when they need to count. The one tomorrow will obviously not be on this update. So this is becoming less and less of an issue, to be honest. It does affect some high pressure placement as far as the weather goes and the drought correlation. The high pressure domes can really get established over drought areas. That is about the only significant issue that I see that we will be tracking in the next few months. Otherwise, and in terms of agriculture, that obviously is not a concern really anymore, at least not as much as you normally would have during the growing season. But at least want to mention that we're still in a drought. Okay, the skies are mainly clear. You can't really see the thin little wispy clouds kind of flying overhead. If you look carefully and squint, I'm not sure if you're watching. What are you guys watching on, by the way? I'm curious. Type 1 if you're on your cell phone. Type 2 if you're on your iPad. Type 3 if you're on a PC. Just curious. Phone, iPad, PC. I'm just curious what you guys are watching on. Or, hey, let's do a fourth one. You're watching on TV on the streaming service of the Fire Stick or Roku, which some of you may do. Okay, so this system is developing back to the west. The rain is already starting to show up across areas of Texas, a little bit of snow into New Mexico. This is our rain coming away later on for tonight and tomorrow. Yeah, looking at all your numbers, a lot of ones. So a lot of you are on phones, a few on pads, a few on a PC. Tawana's on the giant screen in the weather office. Tawana's got it made. She has her own 80-inch TV that she gets in the weather office. We get tiny 20-inch monitors, but she gets an 82-inch TV. Let's see, some threes, and I got a 4. Got a 4. Thank you, Sarah, appreciate that for mentioning. All right, just curious. It's always nice to know what you guys are watching on. That helps me in knowing when I need to take maps full or not, because my monitor is about a 27-inch here in front of me, so I really can't see very well with I'm getting old, but can't see very well on some of the features. So that helps me know if I need to help you guys out. Okay, so let me know if you ever can't see anything, and I'll try to adjust for you. Anyway, here's the system developing into Texas. But let me show you the radar loop of the last 24 hours with this. And look how rapidly this thing formed into Texas. I mean, it scooped up that moisture and boom, there we go. I mean, there was nothing about this time yesterday we were talking about, and then now we got the rain. So this system is certainly on the way. That's why the rain chance is at 100%. There is a severe potential of this, but it's on the southeast corner of it, and it's, yeah, Houston, not exactly in a great spot, right? They've got an enhanced risk there. A lower end risk of severe weather near the I-10, I-20 corridor into the deep south. Now, for us, we're not expecting any severe weather. In fact, it's going to be tough to get thunder. I can't rule it out for far southern Kentucky. Some of the latest data is trying to bring in what we call Cape into at least Tennessee. A rumble thunder possible. Don't worry about that. Most of this is going to be just rain. If you got plans tonight, all the way between now and, say, 11 o'clock news tonight, you're fine. After that point, if you work second, third shift, you're going to be dealing with some rain. All right, the rain's going to increase, and tomorrow morning's commute looks wet with a good soaking rain coming through the area. The good news is the steady rain portion of this, the window for that keeps shrinking down. Therefore, the amounts have been dropping down on this as well. The overall trend I'm seeing is that if I were to divide the viewing area up in half, roughly along the Ohio River, I would see your chance to get a half-inch or more will be north, near, and north of the line. And if you're south of that line, which would be mainly in Kentucky, you will likely be on the other side, less than a half inch of rain. That's the trend that I'm noticing. Again, higher Indiana, lower Kentucky. I'm not seeing any potential anymore really to get up to an inch of rain in Indiana. That amount keeps dropping down to where you're a little closer to about 6/10, 7/10 of an inch. Still, we need the rainfall, but I just want to update you guys on the totals that are coming into play. But it's still aiming for overnight, pre-dawn hours, through the morning commute, about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then what gets interesting is we end up with a windy setup throughout the day. And the temperatures will be mild. They're only going to drop when the rain moves in. We call that wet bulbing. The atmosphere will cool down when the rain starts. We'll drop maybe 4 or 5 degrees into the lower 40s. And then the south wind will take that thermometer, move it back up again throughout the day, well into the 50s. And it's going to be windy through the day. As I mentioned yesterday, the southwest flow is going to stay fairly strong throughout the entire day. So windy, mild, and you'll have an occasional shower that will form and redevelop and rapidly move to the northeast. They're not going to last very long, and they will not be as nearly as heavy at all of what the morning round will bring to the area. So additional light amounts with these, yes, but the main rainfall accumulation will be with the initial slug that comes our way later tonight and early for tomorrow. In fact, the southwest flow is so strong, the 50s, once they move in, I just don't know if we're going to drop it all Friday night. We may stay in the mid 50s all night long and just stay in the 50s to around 60 even to Saturday. So the thermometer will hold steady with this kind of a setup. That's good. It'll ease back on the furnace, right? Not kicking on as much. That's a big plus. Once we get into Sunday, now I mentioned there was 2 systems on the map that were moving by, and we didn't know if they were going to shake hands or just wave at each other from across the street. Well, the trend is to try to at least not really shake hands, maybe a fist bump. Maybe a fist bump. They try to get a little closer on Sunday. So now it looks like perhaps as we head into Sunday, there could be a few showers that may develop in the area on Sunday. But right now, Kentucky stands to be a little higher chance than Indiana will be on that one. But overall, much of the weekend is more dry than wet for sure. And mild, again, near 60 the entire time. Once that moves by, we have another mini low that comes into play as we head into next week. This is part of that little digging process. These lows kind of, doing a little dig here and then moving on. This first one is Monday into Tuesday. It does the dig as we head into Sunday night, early Monday. And yeah, if you look carefully, I mean, you got to squint. This is, you know what? I need to do the map full. There we go. If you squint, you can see a little bit of pink right there. Now, this is just a model interpretation. But the point is, if it times out, yeah, you can get maybe a snowflake that could mix in at 36 degrees. So, yeah, it wouldn't even cause an issue other than social media. Anyway, so that little wave comes on by. It moves out. Now, the one for Tuesday into Wednesday, or really Wednesday and Thursday, is trending a little more north on the modeling. So that one may be tougher to get moisture out. But see how the line here kind of goes up? There is a little push of warm air right there. It moves right into Kentucky on Tuesday. So we could get close to, well into the 50s. It wouldn't surprise me. We may try to push towards 60 with that little tug north there. But then we just drop right in behind it as we head into Wednesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, kind of a up and down type of setup. But the wave itself, as far as moisture, may end up staying to our north and east. We'll see if that is indeed the case there. All right, so at least wanted to show you that update, and it's the reason why I, again, as the first item on the snowboard, it's just iffy. Then we get rid of that, and we get into that bubble of warmth coming our way. Now, it doesn't look as windy now as we head toward next weekend. I guess that's a good thing, but it does look like warm air will develop, and this is the larger system that I was talking about that's going to develop across the lower 48. This is a much more expansive system than even the one tonight that is developing. So this is going to have a lot of snow in the Rockies, rain into the plains, maybe thunderstorms into the southern plains. Right now, I do not see us being in that zone, but I do see us being on the warmer side of this as it moves on by. When you look at the ensembles of where that low is going to track, this may be hard to see as well, but there are little bitty red L's everywhere where the model is trying to figure out where that low will track. I know if you've seen the GFS, don't look at it. It really wants to still suppress this and allow for quite an interesting setup at the end of next weekend. However, the Canadian is up here, okay? And Even the ensembles from the GFS, majority of them cut the system. So the Euro idea, trying to also bring into the north, it makes more sense. The GFS idea is an outliner. I'm not saying it's wrong, because the Euro, to be honest with you, has received some bad marks here lately. It's been scoring bad, and that's not like the Euro. And I'm not sure what's going on over there, but the Euro has been having a little bit of trouble. So, and the GFS has scored points. So I don't want to discount it. It's just right now with the pattern, the way it looks, and the teleconnections, the idea of it cutting makes more sense. So that's why I think this is going to be a rain to maybe a snow setup on the backside. But here's the thing. You almost want this thing to be strong. You want it to cut. Why do you want that to happen? Well, the pattern coming in from the Pacific is active. So it is likely that if this system will cut and then allow for a backlash of colder air, there will be another one developing right here into Texas that is going to quickly sneak in and take advantage of that. And that one could be much more on the wintry side for a good chunk of the Ohio River Valley. So that would make things interesting for about, obviously, the mid-December time frame, maybe the 14th or 15th, something like that. I'm looking way out. I know, getting out of my bubble here. But just trying to explain how the players and the cause effect, it's a chain reaction that happens down the line. But if it's worth, for snow lovers anyway, if you want to try to get things more interesting here, you kind of want the system to cut north next weekend to see another one take advantage of right in behind it. But that second one has to move in. If not, it's game over. But anyway, at least want to explain that system. When you look at the globe and the polar vortex, here's what's interesting here is that you start to see where there is that ridge that tries to form into the western side of British Columbia, Vancouver area, West Coast. You see that little tug on the West Coast. If that can happen, that would allow for the cold air to try to sink more down into the eastern United States. But there's still a lot of debate on whether or not we're going to see this push over here take place, the ridge, to allow for the colder air to drop into the eastern half of the country. The modeling's been hinting at this now for what, a month now, that this is possible as we head into mid to late December. We've been talking about this over and over. There's still very conflicting data on this. Some modeling, yes, says this is likely to happen. Some take the idea of the ridge out of the equation and allow for it to be much more of a trough kind of scenario, a little bit of a broad trough in the west, and then just flat out warm and a zonal, fast warm flow in the lower 48. And that would be a bummer, because if that can get locked in, it would likely stay locked in for the rest of the winter, and it's game over for winter. We wouldn't get much in the way of any snow all the way through the rest of the season. So we really need to see what happens the next 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks especially are going to be absolutely key on how the rest of the winter is going to play out. It's nerve-wracking, right? I'm constantly looking at the data. You don't want to look at too much because you get a headache. But that's kind of the challenge that we've got. Here is the GFS, and this may be hard to see. Let me pull it up. Of the same idea. You can see that it's got the bubble of warm air between now and about the 10th or so of December. There's your polar vortex here, basically their colder air stretched out to the east. But then you get toward the end of the year and you get into the beginning of January, and you see now we've got the trough that is digging down into the United States, and the ridge is pumped up all the way into Alaska there. So GFS and the Euro trying to at least hint that flip is possible. When I was looking at the EPO, one of the teleconnections, I'm getting very technical here. It's been relatively positive the entire autumn season, and this is the Pineapple Express is what this is basically. This allows for your fast, warm flow into the United States, rain, typical El Nino. Got to get this to get to the other side of the black line if you want to see a significant change on that end of the spectrum. And by the time we hit toward New Year's Day, it at least gets negative, or at least neutral to slightly negative, but it's not as positive. So that's interesting. And then when you get to the Arctic oscillation, it's tanked now, but we have a strong EPO. Again, everything has to line up. Right now, the Arctic oscillation is negative, but it wants to go back to positive. That warm air, that makes sense with our cutting systems coming our way. I talked about this may continue all the way through near Christmas. And then it has the drop that happens around New Year's Eve into January. Even looking at the temperature profile for the end of the year and the first part of January, it is cold for our neck of the woods, which again, are we willing to wait, snow lovers? Are we willing to wait until the end of December and January to see anything interesting on snow? We may not have a choice. We may not have a choice, to be honest. But that's a long way off. That is a long way off to have rain events coming our way. But that's, hey, if this is what we want to have happen, this is what we're going to have to do is wait and see how the pattern all evolves. But at least it's not a complete bummer. At least we're not getting strong signals that there is no chance of any kind of flip. It's still there. It is still there. And why is this so complex? We're dealing with an anomaly of an El Nino that is getting close to record levels. Its placement's a little off. No two El Ninos are alike, so we're kind of in an unknown territory. You're going to see a lot of theories on social media. A lot of meteorologists and climatologists have theories about what is about to happen. I don't know who's right, who's wrong. I don't even know if I'm on the right path or not, but I'm at least be honest with you about what we see, and let's just take it one day at a time. And have some fun with it too, right? Have some fun. Weather is fun. It's fun to forecast. It's like a game every day to try to figure out. Let's see, Kathy, I like that white Christmas without the below zero temperatures. Me too. Here's the thing. If that flip is right and that ridge goes way up into the western side of Canada, that cold that drops down, guys, that's brutal. That's brutal cold. So I'm not even saying it means snow. It just, yeah, that'd be horrible to get a lot of cold and no snow. Cold and dry is kind of interesting there, right? All right, I'll end on the latest snow outlook. They came in from the Long Range Euro, and this takes us, I know you probably can't see the dates. This gets us into January. New Year's Eve is roughly about right here. So this is all the last part of December and into January. There are some pinks and a lot of blues showing up there, guys. Could the ensembles be onto something? Could the big change indeed happen? We'll see. What actually happened in January? It would be nice to have winter where it belongs in January, not in March. Kind of a weird thing, right? Okay, we'll see what happens. Take care, guys. Enjoy the warm afternoon and the rain coming in tonight, early tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on our newscast today on the timing of that as well. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Take care.